Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Treasured Wellness. I am your host, Michelle, and I am a high functioning fatigue expert and holistic functional health coach who will always bring you a biblical approach along with natural health support. And today we are talking about the heart health stress connection because February is Heart Health Month. And we are going to take more of a holistic approach as we are talking about our heart. Now, over 40, there tends to be more stress related fatigue conditions in women over 40. It just is, right? I mean, how many times are you talking to a girlfriend and you guys are commiserating on how stressed out you are? I want to share some symptoms that you may be feeling related to your heart that is truly not your heart, but it's a message. Your heart is giving you a message. So when your heart feels off, you're having some heart related symptoms, but stress is really the issue. So many women in this midlife season get really concerned and scared and want to get this all checked out, and rightly so. Please do that. But we think that it's our heart. I went through the same thing. I'll share my story later. But heart related symptoms, they often show up really quietly at first. Maybe it's the racing heart or that tired but wired feeling, right? And we are just wondering, like, is it really our heart? Like, what's going on? Shortness of breath as we're climbing stairs, chest tightening at nighttime. Even when, here's the thing, even when the house goes quiet, you climb into bed and you're being still, you're completely still, and your heart starts racing. You're like, what is going on? Or skipping beats. So you do the right thing. You go to your doctor, you make an appointment, you get these labs taken, and then they come back and your labs look fine, right? Or everything looks normal and your symptoms are still there. That's a problem, right? So trust your gut, trust your instinct, trust your God given instinct that something's not right. We always ask what's not right. And this is a little disconnect that we have between conventional medicine and holistic, in that if everything looks fine, they send us on our way. Or, and this is so upsetting, or they give us anti anxiety medication. But if we don't fix the problem, that's not going to fix it. It's like a band aid, right? So there's this disconnect that is leaving many women in this midlife season feeling more anxious, more stressed out, more overwhelmed, more confused, and just questioning what is going on. And then we add to that menopause, perimenopause, all of these fun symptoms of those, menopause and perimenopause, which is a natural rite of passage, right? Don't hate me, but it is, right? I mean, we all have to go through this, whether we like it or not, but we can choose to go through it with grace and dignity, or more like kicking and screaming and in defiance, or trying all these things and overwhelming ourselves in the process. So from a holistic functional perspective, this is truly rarely a heart failure issue or a heart um, issue, just a heart issue. It's really more of a stress driven physiological issue, right? So, this is something that I've talked about in episode 324, I believe it was, when we were talking about stress and fatigue leading to burnout, which is, again, very, very common in women over 40. Because think about it, you've worked and lived and raised a family and done all of these things for your whole life, and you might even be in that sandwich generation right now. That's pretty stressful. And so this is where your adrenals get more and more taxed, and you start feeling those symptoms where before you could push through, and it's not so easy to push through anymore. So check out episode 324 and then check out episode 305, where you've got the ability to praise and pray your way through your high functioning fatigue, because we always want to bring it back to the Lord. walk with him through this journey, and that will bring you a whole lot more peace than trying to do this on your own. So let's talk about what this stress, fatigue, heart connection is, right? It's all connected. The body is brilliantly designed, and every body system works together in some way, shape, or form, or communicates somewhere in some way, shape, or form. And it's very important that we understand that when our stress is chronically high, if we are maintaining a high stress amount, then that means that your cortisol is consistently elevated. If you constantly feel like your adrenaline is running, right? You constantly feel like you are in fight, flight, or freeze, right? You're on edge. Your body might be at a constant hum. That's what my body was doing. I was feeling like I was almost like vibration, like I was like humming, and it was actually starting to drive me a little batty. It's like, what is going on? But cortisol, as you know, is your main stress hormone. It is why you acknowledge it when you are actually feeling that stress in your body. Intellectually, you know that your cortisol is high. And you may even say that. Yeah, I mean, my cortisol is through the roof right now, right? And over time, what happens is it leads to symptoms that can mimic conditions related to heart disease, increased resting heart rate. You're just sitting there, but your heart rate is going up. You're checking your Apple Watch or something, and it's like, oh my goodness, my heart rate's over 100 while I'm sitting. Blood pressure fluctuations, highs, lows, right? Like I said, the heart palpitations, the skipping heartbeats, you have a harder time recovering after exercise. You might have that tired but wired feeling that so many women in this age range feel, which can lead to anxiety that you don't feel during the day, but boy, you feel it at night when things are quiet and you've stopped doing what you needed to do all day and now it's time for you to rest. You might have that anxiety kick in. And so these hormonal shifts they reduce the way we are able to perceive stress. So you're adding all of the hormonal changes with perimenopause and menopause, and what used to be where we could handle stress, we no longer feel like we can handle it as well as we did 10 years ago, 5 years ago, last year, right? So we also take into consideration, how are your minerals? Are your minerals depleted? This is why I always test with the labs. I want to see, are you depleted in minerals? Because that is a great indicator that you are out of balance, right? We look at blood sugar instability, right? If you have low blood sugar or raises and falls, right? That is instability, and that can intensify the heart symptoms. So again, how your body actually perceives stress is super important, right? Is it an emergency or is it an urgency? And this is something that I walk through with my clients because it's important to know the difference, right? An emergency is you're in a car accident. An urgency is you're running late to your dentist appointment. So, but if we stay on high alert, our body's acting for the urgency like it's an emergency, and that's draining us of cortisol. And the heart is responding. It's responding because it's super sensitive to stress signals that the body's giving it. So I talked through more of this when I think it was episode 325, when it was a replay of something that I did, a workshop that I did, Own Your Health. So check that out, episode 325, and you might really align with the symptoms that I go through with that. And so this is why, okay, you're high functioning, you're still doing fine, right? Air quotes, you're still doing fine because you're looking great on the outside, even though you're absolutely drained and depleted on the inside. By the time you get home, it's 10 times worse. You as a woman who is leading and serving and just being there for her family, taking care of aging parents, taking business trips, running meetings constantly, you're busy, you're doing the thing, right? You are high functioning, but you're doing it on low reserve. You're doing it on foggy fumes. You're doing it with not much in your bucket. And this is high functioning fatigue. So your performance, your productivity is really a mask, so to speak, of the depletion that you feel inside, right? We, women tend to adopt four main identity mindsets that keep them in this exhaustion cycle: perfectionist, people pleasing, push through, protection. We adopt these four identity mindsets and we make that how we get through life. But this is keeping us sicker. It's keeping us maybe stuck in our wellness and sometimes keeping us very sad. And again, once we recognize that that is something that we are working with or working through or just adopting these mindsets, then we can, with the Lord together, work on recovering from that and changing our mindset around that, because it's no way to live. And I have been all four of these mindsets. And, full disclosure, I still work on push through. I do. I'm still consistently, more times than not, pushing through when I shouldn't. And then my body tells me. And then I try again. And every time I go longer and longer between pushing through at that extent, at that level, right? So this is not a one and done, right? Like we're never going to arrive at perfection until the Lord calls us home. But it's a intentional, daily, intentional, okay, God's mercies are new every single morning. Great is his faithfulness. Walking with him through this journey, it will help you to start to listen to your body and what your body is telling you. And I know that I just want to share this story. I had a client that came to me just convinced that something was wrong with her heart. Her cardiology workup was clear, everything was clear, but she had real symptoms. Incidentally, when she went to the cardiologist and did all the tests and everything was fine, they just sent her home. I don't know why you're experiencing this, right? Just sent her home. So together we worked on helping her nervous system to calm. She needs to feel safe and secure before her body will start to relax and release some toxins, release some toxic weight. Our bodies need to feel safe and secure, or it will maintain that high alert status. Okay. And that just reduces our capacity, right? Our bandwidth. We just don't have it. And it puts more stress on our metabolic system. So once we targeted that, her heart palpitations decreased and then went away. Her sleep was improving along the way and she gained more energy. So the issue was never her heart, it was her max load. Like she was at capacity. And it was simply, even though it did not feel simple to her at the time, and I lived it, so I know it does not feel simple at the time, her body was telling her that it was maxed out. This is beyond tired, right? It's saying, hey, I'm on overload. I am on the verge of burnout. I am ready. Like my bucket is completely empty, right? Her self care bucket was emotionally, physically, and spiritually empty. So the body needs to feel safe and secure to heal and recover. So pushing through, burning your adrenals out, it tells the body a different message. It says, you're in an emergency. You need to stay on high alert. So, okay. What do we need to do? What would really actually help this that is doable and that feels right for you, that you can actually maintain this? So, we want to support our adrenals and our nervous system health. Okay. We want to listen to our body and listen to what it's really saying. Don't ignore it anymore. That's God given Holy Spirit wisdom that He has given us as believers that we can help our body to feel safe. So you don't have to spend a lot of time on this, but like if your body is starting to kind of scream at you because it's been whispering and then talking in its outside voice, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, you're not hearing me, I'm going to scream before it gets your attention. That's a problem. It's already feeling very unsafe. So it's almost like being dehydrated, right? You can think that you are catching up on your hydration by quickly chugging a full bottle of water, 20 ounces or whatever, but you were really dehydrated for like the first 10 hours. So it's going to take a little bit. It's going to take more than that 20 ounces, right? You have to support your nervous system. You have to support your adrenals, and you have to take time for self care. That is not a mani and a pedi. It's not a bubble bath, but it's like stopping in the middle of your day and resetting, getting off the computer, getting out of your office, going for a quick walk around the block, sitting in your car with your eyes closed, not scrolling on your phone. This is going to reset your nervous system. Okay. And then we want to make sure that your nutrients and minerals are replenished if they've been depleted. So this is where we need to know, like, if you're not drinking an electrolyte, for example, a clean electrolyte, please, a clean electrolyte. Message me if you want some ideas. But if you are not drinking a good clean electrolyte, then, or if you've never had one, you chances are, and you have a fatigue condition or you feel off, you need minerals. Your minerals are depleted. So that's an easy step. And then nutritionally, making sure you're getting good quality nutrition. This is also going to help stabilize your blood sugar. So it's a win-win, right? And then again, sacred pauses, which goes back to supporting your adrenals and nervous system. Establish these moments in your day, these rhythms of rest, these sacred pauses, and you are just pausing. And listen, this is not about doing less, because I know you want to work and do at the level that you're doing, but you just want to be able to do it as effectively and productively and with the energy that you used to have. And you don't have it right now. So taking a pause, pouring into yourself every single day, right? Bookend your crazy day with an AM renew and a PM refill. And then in the middle, take a midday reset. 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Everybody can take 5 minutes for themselves. If you are working through lunch, try not to do that. I realize there are some professions where, you're lucky if you get a lunch break, but try really hard to honor your lunchtime. Okay. That's a great way to build in that midday reset. But I will say, you know, even though it's not about doing less, less is more when it comes to stress induced fatigue conditions, plain and simple. So there needs to be support and harmony, even as you are leaning heavily toward one side of balance, using air quotes again, for things like extra work deadlines, right? You need to still make time for a sacred pause to help your body feel safe, because we all have to lean heavier towards, the whole work life balance. Like it sounds great, but sometimes we are balancing more on the work side, right? It seems like it's rarely ever on the home side, but sometimes if we're in caretaker mode, then it is. So we want to try to establish more of a harmony and help our body to feel safe even through the busy. So if this is resonating with you, if this is making sense with you, and you are feeling some of these symptoms, it's not your heart per se, but your heart is giving you a signal. Your heart is giving you a message that your nervous system is taxed. Your adrenals are pumping out way too much cortisol. Like the cortisol is flowing, and we don't want to get into a cortisol deficit because we've been pumping, pumping, pumping. That's when I had my testing done. I was like below the baseline normal of cortisol. I had nothing. They had to retest me twice because they're like, this doesn't look right. And I was even worse the next time, 2 weeks later. So this is a problem with doers like us, right? Like we tend to keep on pushing through. It's what we've always done, it's what we're always going to do. And until God makes us lie down, which He did me, we struggle with that. So I'm not saying that, you need to quit your job or, whatever. Of course not. No, we have a full life and we love our full life. But for a season, we need to push pause and maybe say no more than we say yes, and really just take these restore times, these daily restore times, and learn to listen to what our body is saying. So let me give you a for instance. If are you go down to the refrigerator and you open it up, you had no plan for lunch, you work from home, you have no plan for lunch, you open the refrigerator and you're standing there and you're like, I really should have this salad, but it's cold outside and you don't want a salad. And you're like, well, I really don't want the salad. I really want some tuna. Get clean tuna, like really clean tuna, wild caught tuna. And but you're like, "Ugh, but I stepped on the scale this morning and I was up half a pound. I need to eat the salad. But you are kind of wanting the tuna. Listen to your body and eat the tuna. Eat the tuna with some lettuce, right? I mean, you can have both. But it's just this intuitive eating, learning to listen to your body, learning to what does my body need? It will tell you. It will tell you. But we just get in such go mode that we're not even thinking. We're not even stopping to like, what do I really want? What do I really need? What will help give me more energy? So that is something that I challenge all of you to do. And again, if you know that your body is needing more support and restoration, then Midlife Health Restore is where high achieving Christian women grow their capacity so they can lead with strength and not from that constant hum of stress. With one clear wellness focus, weekly accountability, and faith fueled mentorship, you can enjoy a calm, energized new normal, but with intentionality. So, if that sounds like something that you are ready for, you can email me at michelle@treasuredwellness.com, or you can simply click the link in the description. And I want to leave you with Ephesians. Let's see, Ephesians 3. Oh, my Bible changed. It moved. The pages moved. It flipped. Okay, so I just wanted to leave you with this prayer that Paul left for the Ephesians, because I just feel like a lot of our stress comes from just those identity mindsets that we adopt, right? And so I just want to remind you of who you are as a Christ follower and who He is. Okay, so Ephesians 3:14, all the way down to 21. For this reason, I kneel before the Father, from whom every family in heaven and on earth derives its name. I pray that out of His glorious riches, He may strengthen you with power through His Spirit in your inner being, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. And I pray that you, being rooted and established in love, may have power, together with all the Lord's holy people, to grasp how wide and long and high and deep is the love of Christ, and to know this love that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled to the measure of all the fullness of God. Now to Him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us, to Him be glory in the church and in Christ Jesus throughout all generations, forever and ever. Amen. I pray this is a blessing for you today. And Come join us inside Restore. It's an amazing group of faith filled women who love Jesus and want to focus on one wellness focus and keep it simple and stop the overwhelm and the noise. So remember, you are a beautiful treasure. Your body is a temple. So treasure your wellness.